You, yes, you. Come, quick, I have a story to tell you. It is a story of heartache and woe, of betrayal and sacrifice. Oh, you actually came over. I didn't expect to get this far. You want to hear a story about the most annoying D&D player I've ever played with? This story takes place way back in ye olden days of Dungeons & Dragons. 2021. and we were playing, now infamous for its frankly boring game design, Tyranny of Dragons. Many people in our group were new to D&D, which will be really obvious soon, but I'll hold off on introducing people until they're relevant to the story at hand. Things started out great. We began the adventure just outside of the town of Greenest, which was on fire, and being raided by kobolds, cultists, and a dragon. Classic D&D. Now, for some reason, I remember the DM saying that she skipped over some content before this point just to get us to the good part of the adventure, but now that I have access to a completely legitimately acquired copy of the book, there's nothing before this in the book. That is, unless you count the insane 15-page outline of the campaign, which could have absolutely been narrowed down to 5, but again, it's a very outdated adventure. So yeah, things were going great. People introduced their characters out of the game, and we had some minor roleplay that amounted to, let's go help, I guess. The second we step into the village, our rogue decides to pipe up. I would like to sneak away from the party and go into the building. Fuck, is that the voice I'm using? Dead silence from everyone else at the table. Despite weird looks from the group and the DM, she lets him, and he rolls stealth. He succeeds and makes his way into the burning building. And what do you think he does? He asks to loot the place. The DM shuts him down quickly, saying that unless he wants a cast iron frying pan, the burning, pillaged peasant house doesn't exactly hold riches to be taken. This is probably a good time to tell you more about the rogue's character. His inspiration for his character was plain to see. From what I remember, he had based his character fully off his Skyrim character. His name was Falkreath, and in the place where you could draw your character on the character sheet, he instead had a printout of his Skyrim character pasted over it. On top of that, his backstory was the most edgy, milquetoast rogue backstory I have ever read. But unfortunately for me, and fortunately for you, this is not where this horror story ends. We make it to the center of the town, a keep, and the only safe haven, rescuing a few people along the way. And wouldn't you know it, the dragon flew overhead, the one attacking the town. The whole party dove for cover in the keep, except for one of us. Our beloved rogue ran out of the keep and tried to shoot a goddamned arrow at it, and he missed, even though the dragon wasn't even bothering with him. Level 1, by the way. Now, my memory is a little hazy here, but according to the book, the dragon is meant to attack until it takes a certain amount of damage, and it won't even target the players until they deal damage to it. However, in our game, the dragon flew away right after the rogue missed his shot, taking a few guards with him, of course. This leads me to believe that my DM took pity on our rogue, who would have been instantly killed by the dragon, but whose Skyrim experience gave him the unearned confidence to make him believe he could fight it on his own. We then met an important NPC by the name of Governor Nighthill, who gave us a quest to sneak through an escape tunnel, ambush some raiders, and bring back a prisoner to interrogate. Simple, right? Instead, the raiders managed to ambush us at the exit to the tunnel, and in the ensuing fight, the rogue crit failed an attack with his bow and ended up pinning himself to the wall via his cloak. I find this really funny. Near the end of the fight, when asked, how do you want to do this, when killing a raider, even though I don't think our DM watched Critical Role, he proceeded to depict a scene that was just way too graphic for the table. He briefly shut up after this. Anyways, we succeeded in capturing a prisoner and began interrogating them back at the keep. Now, according to the book, there are 3 types of raiders: cultists, kobolds, and mercenaries. The book states that in this encounter, kobolds and mercenaries are easily convinced to spill their secrets, with the cultists being the only ones who are tight-lipped. And please, take a guess who we happened to capture. So, after a few unsuccessful tries at convincing them, our rogue had had enough. He sat down on the interrogation chair, reverse way of course, and pulled out his dagger and began threatening the cultist without asking the party. This wouldn't have even been that bad if he had not already been acting like the most cringy stereotype of a rogue until this point, and not the fun, carefree type of cringe either. And it wasn't even a good threat. It was something along the lines of, "You're gonna tell us what we want, or else." And the best part was that he absolutely bombed the intimidation roll because of his horrible charisma. And clearly embarrassed by the DM's description of his failure, he shut up for a while this time. I think this was a defining moment for him because after all of this, he kinda got better. He began cooperating with the party a lot more, still acting as his edgy, roguish self, but using his edge for the sake of the party and not his own Skyrim fantasies. He was still a little cringe, but damn it, what is D&D if not a little cringe? So I suppose the story does have something of a happy ending, not the usual, we kicked him out after a horrible meltdown, or the group fell apart after he went too far. The group did fizzle out, as most campaigns do after a few sessions, but that wasn't because of any problem players or drama, as far as I know. I think it's now time for the final reveal. It was me! I was the rogue! I was the nightmare player! Oh, cool! Big twist! My introduction to D&D was partly due to my fascination with Skyrim, where I learned a few lessons that really didn't transfer too well over to D&D. I've grown a lot since then, and I still play with many of the people in that group to this day, where we all joke about how annoying I was in those first few games. Never problematic, just annoying as fuck. Final lesson? Have a session 0, talk to your group, establish a social contract. It fixes more issues than I can even express. And yep, I still play Skyrim.